Hi, Matt McAleer, President, Director of Private Wealth, Cumberland Advisors, November 10th, right at the close. So what do we see this week? The biggest thing was the continuation of large cap. Large cap, large cap, large cap. As a matter of fact, Shaun, we're now at extreme levels, ratio-wise, in the spread between performance in large cap and small cap. Something we do want to be aware of because historically you have been able to get a little small cap rally late in the year, December into January. We'll see if that helps small cap pick up their head. Again, our exposure there is limited. We'd actually like to add a little bit there.
Yeah.
We benefited from the large cap / large tech rally this week in our tactical account. Microsoft, Adobe,
the big
QQQ, even equal weight technology rallied. So we've done just fine there. We'd like to see it spread out a little bit more, but we'll take it from that standpoint. In terms of fixed income, I know you're going to have to get a lot of rest this weekend because next week is a large schedule of data coming out.
Oh yeah, going to be a very busy week for us. We've got CPI, PPI, retail sales, and jobs all next week between Tuesday and Thursday. So those are the numbers that are going to move the market. Remember we talked last week, it doesn't take much in this kind of market. And we saw the rally. And that continued into Thursday when you had a little bit of a back off, some backing and filling in there off of a pretty weak auction overall. 30-year auction was pretty bad. So next week though, those inflation prints are really going to drive the market. Powell has come out and said inflation's going to be the dictator of what they do. So we're going to be watching those very closely to try to get an idea of maybe what direction we're going. Because it doesn't take much with the volatility we're seeing.
Especially positioning, right? We talk to positioning often. As a matter of fact, at Cumberland on our videos, I think we talk about market positioning more than any other firm I've seen. Yeah. We're trying not to make predictions and so on and so forth. We pay attention to how the market is positioned for headlines. And we saw it 2 weeks ago, discussed it. In the Treasury market, extreme short positioning. In the equity markets, extreme short positioning in the S&Ps. One of the favorite things I've spoken to in the past is that small options trader. And by small, I'm going to call it 10 contracts and under. Buying puts at an extreme level the last week of October. What surprised me when I went over the data last weekend is, remember we had that rip of a rally in the first week of November.
Yep.
Incredibly, small put buyers were adding to their put positions. Now, you may be an options trader. You may be a small options trader. I'm not trying to knock you. I want to be on the other side of your trades. Sometimes you're going to win. Most of the times we're going to win. When we see that kind of extreme action out of the small speculator, you need to be aware. Doesn't mean you load up the boat long or short. You need to be aware of positioning. So going into next week, I think some of that extreme positioning came off, especially in the equity market. As I said last week, in downtrends, and that's what we had in September and October. Lower highs, lower lows. Those are reversed by short covering.
Yep.
You saw it. Some of the shorts were added to or not covered, looking to get back in the game this week. We saw today some panic from the shorts. Real rips in the most shorted securities out there. So some of that extreme positioning has come off and may dampen some of the volatility next week. We'll see. But you hit it on the head, Shaun, with what do we have? CPI, PPI,
retail sales, jobs. So all of those things are going to really drive fixed income next week. And, we talked about, being careful with this rally, and we were. Munis did really well in light of the sell-off we saw on Thursday. Munis hung in there really well, and they
Yep.
performed well in light of what treasuries are doing as well. So we like what we're seeing on munis, but we want to be careful in here because it doesn't take much to move this market. A bad inflation print, can really send it the other way, can send yields higher, prices lower. So we want to be conscious of that, and we want to be acting opportunistically. That I think is so important in this market. Pick your spots,
Absolutely.
make good bets.
Well, tell the
And
Moose
those
to
will-
get a nice weekend's worth of
yeah.
rest as well. We'll be back next Friday, and we'll have reports and analysis of some of that inflation data. Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks.